In today's video, we're going to use 3 different methods to try and straighten a shaft, a bent shaft. Okay, and the first method is going to be the poor man's method, where you just have a press and some sort of straight edge to check your work, and you can actually just put a light behind it to check where the high and low spots are. The second method, we're going to use a torch, and we're just going to spot heat certain sections. And then the last method, we're going to use a lathe and a straightening roller. I don't have one. I'm going to have to make one. It's just a wheel where you use a torch, spin the shaft, and then press the wheel up against the shaft to try and straighten it as it's spinning. It might be easier to take the shaft to a metal shop and have them straighten it, but I don't know how much that would cost. But in either case, to straighten these, the first thing we're going to do in all cases is use the press to get it as straight as we can. If you don't have one of these gauges, you can get them on Amazon. They're like, say, 30, 40 bucks. I can't remember how much they are, but they're pretty cheap. For the first method, using the press, you just mark where the bend is, the center of it, the center between the height of the bend, and then of course the high spot. And now that it's marked, just put it under the press. I'm going to use 2 washers on the bottom and 1 on the top so it don't scratch the shaft. This one's already scratched really bad, so it doesn't really matter. I'll try and clean that up later. It's getting a lot straighter. Now we'll check it. It's pretty close. Now you could keep going with it, and eventually you would get it. It does take a lot of time. That's what I always did. I never used heat because it'd leave burn marks on a shaft. But the problem I'd always run into is I'd crunch on it, no change, crunch on it again, and I'd overbend it. It's because I can't really tell what kind of pressure I'm putting on it. But if one had a gauge underneath of it where you could touch the bottom of this, you could see how much pressure you're actually putting on the rod, and that would help you straighten this out a lot quicker. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go on to the next method. All right, second method. Right now it's on the high spot, and I'm about 10 thousandths out of whack, so we need to bring it down about 5 thousandths. And what happens when you heat this, it expands it so the very end bends down. The problem is, even if you try and cool it, is it goes right back up to the same spot every time. So what I'm going to do is heat it up, it'll bend down, and I'm going to hold this down. I have something to hold it now, and all I have to do is just put a little twist on this, and you'll see the gauge move. Now I only need 5 thousandths, but I'm probably going to go, say, 15 thousandths past. So I'm going to bring this line up to here. After I heat it, we'll leave it hold and let it cool and see what it does. We'll start with that. Look at that, it didn't do anything. I'm gonna get more aggressive with this. I actually moved the shaft in more right before the bend, so once again I'll be heating on the top of the bend and cranking this down. Not good. Looks like it might go all the way back to the same damn spot. You know what? Actually, I am 1,000th closer, it looks like. I guess we'll take her maybe 40 thousandths past and see what happens. I'm probably 50 thousandths past where I need to be. I probably shouldn't have went that much, but let's see what the gauge says. 4 thousandths bent in the wrong direction. So I actually overbent it. So I probably could have got away with 35 thousandths over. So now I'm going to have to redo this the opposite way. All right, trying to correct the overbend. This method seems like it's sucking for me. I'm not very good at it. Let's see what that looks like. What is that? About 2 It's about 2 thousandths off. I think we're going to leave it there. We'll just clean her up a little bit. This seems to slide in there out fine. I was able to sand it a little more and get some of them burn marks off. It's not perfect, but she works. Then we'll go to the last method. Straightening these shafts, I just thought of a different way to do it before I get to the last one. And this is simply using a lathe and a regular automotive jack with the dial on it. And the first two methods, it's almost like glass blowing. You have to have a knack for it. And if you do it all the time, you'll get used to it. This should be a little bit easier. So right now, this shaft is actually 10 thousandths off. I set it to, it's on the low spot, so we're going to be jacking it up, of course. And we're going to see what happens with this method. We won't be using any heat. Back down to 65. Okay. Okay, I'm 2 out. That's the best I'm going to do. That last method with the jack is a little bit cruel on the head. As you can see, it fluctuating in the video a little bit. But this shaft is only 5/8 thick. If it were a little thicker, I probably wouldn't even use that method, not without heat. So now on to the final method, which I had to come up with a tool for. And this is what I got. I found a wrench in the toolbox. Had a hole in the handle, so I ran a bolt with 2 bearings in it. Lined it up with the shaft. Now this shaft, it's my last bent one, and it's got multiple bends in it. It's like kind of like a U shape here. It's like 6 thousandths out here, 8, and then 7 here. So I'm going to heat it up with a torch and see if I can run it out straight. Now I'll just clean her up with some sandpaper. Okay, it's still like about 3 thousandths off. But it actually slides through the shaft. I already checked that. This actually cleaned up pretty decent. And before it wouldn't even slide through here. And now it slides all the way through perfectly fine. The reason why I don't think it came out perfect was because this lathe doesn't spin true. It hasn't for years. But in either case, this is my favorite method. It took the least amount of time to do and worked out fine.